Hello and welcome to my video about Forza Horizon 6. Now, let's make one thing clear right away. This isn't really a review, and it's not even a should you buy it type of video. Honestly, if you like cars, racing, and Japan, this game is basically a must-buy. Don't even question it. Just get the standard edition though. For anybody who pre-ordered the standard edition, you did a good thing. Sure, you didn't get the early access, whatever, but that's just way too expensive. So this video is more of a discussion. I want to give my thoughts, but I also want to hear yours down in the comments. So get typing and let's actually talk about this game. And let's get straight into it, into the things that I love. And first among those things are the physics. The physics feel way more refined now. It feels like they push the handling closer to realism while somehow still keeping it friendly and fun. Now, if you really throw the car around, especially a rear-wheel drive car, you will lose the rear, like almost guaranteed, but at the same time, the understeer feels way better now. The tires feel sharper, more responsive, more pointy, as tires should. You know, they want to give you grip, but they don't tolerate abuse. Compared to Forza Horizon 5, where the car had this weird initial bite and then suddenly went, maybe not, and just locked itself into understeer unless if you slow the car down even more. And it's like, are the tires? When you're understeering, you will understeer for a minute, but then after a time, by tire scrub, you will start turning in more because tires will bite. And yeah, Horizon 6 feels much more natural. Here, the tires bite, the car settles, and then when the weight transfer eventually pushes the car into understeer, if you overdo it, it actually feels believable. Still closer to arcade, obviously. What's crazy is that they somehow increased the realism while also making the driving feel better and more approachable. I genuinely don't know how they pulled that off, but I guess over the years they clearly kept refining the way the cars move, rotate, and react, and honestly, it just feels good. The race tires especially feel amazing. Semi-slicks or race compounds, whatever they're called, they give way more grip than Horizon 5 did. Maybe it's placebo or maybe not. But one thing's for sure is those tires are already at the perfect temperature 24/7 because there's absolutely no need to warm them up. So they will give you peak performance all the time. But even with race tires showing how the physics are so friendly, you can still slide the car around and hold drift properly with throttle control. It feels much more controllable, definitely a bit more on the unrealistic side, but it's Forza Horizon. It's not meant to be super hardcore simulation serious. And maybe it could be that this is just me getting better since playing Forza Horizon 5 recently before the game launched. But I genuinely think the physics took a solid step forward. It's nowhere near hardcore sim levels, but it's not aggressive realism, just enough realism to feel satisfying while staying fun. And if you start abusing the physics too much, the game punishes you for it. That's good. The second thing I love is the map. Now, yes, I wish this map in Japan was bigger, way bigger, especially Tokyo. I wish the city itself was larger and denser. But honestly, considering the optimization they probably had to do for this game, I kind of get why they kept it condensed. But even then, the map is really good. The more I drive around, the more I love it. There are so many landmarks and interesting roads that I genuinely don't think I found a boring area yet. Every section of the map feels like somewhere you actually want to drive through. Now, it's not Red Dead Redemption 2 levels of picturesque, but they captured the vibe of Japan really well and just packed all the cool parts into one map. Now, compared to Mexico in Horizon 5, which honestly felt kind of flat and uninspiring most of the time, and look, that's not even Playground's fault. They work with what they had. Mexico has beautiful places in real life, and the game had some good spots too. But for a Forza Horizon map, meh. Even Horizon 4, which I loved, had stretches where the map itself wasn't super interesting. The seasons, though, carried that game hard for me. So out of the Horizon games that I've played, 3, 4, 5, and now 6, honestly, I'd rank the maps in that exact order. Horizon 5 is easily the weakest for me, but 6 jumps into first place over 3. Sorry, Australia. Because Japan, massive improvement. And speaking of the map, The seasons are great too. They're finally fully back, let's say, because Mexico, there's not much seasonal changes. And as we started upon release, we started in spring and now we're in summer. I didn't notice a massive visual difference yet, but I think fall is probably where the game is really going to shine in some areas. I think the colors of spring felt colder and more muted, while when I'm driving in the summertime, it feels like there's more color. Could be just me. But one thing's for sure is that there was a lot of rain during spring. Wet races were everywhere. And honestly, wet weather actually feels fantastic. Not in a hyper-realistic sim way where you're aquaplaning through puddles or anything. You just have less grip and need better throttle control. But again, because the physics are so good, controlling the car in slippery conditions feel really satisfying. Another thing I love, the sound design. Now, I already thought Horizon 5 sounded pretty good, but Horizon 6 sounds meaty. And when I look back into Horizon 5, a lot of cars actually sounded pretty tinny. Still good, but the bass, the low notes were missing. And in Horizon 6, some cars sound exaggerated in the best possible way. Almost like the Crew Motorfest, where the audio isn't fully 100% realistic on like what you would hear yourself, but it's enhanced to sound cooler, more full. Because real cars don't, it's not all the cars, but some cars that I see in the game, I don't think they would sound this dramatic all the time. But the extra bass and aggression that they added, oh yeah, music to my ears. You can hear the brake noise, the gear whine, the drivetrain sound, and a bunch of little details depending on the upgrades you install. Now, some of those sounds feel a little artificial at times, like they're just layered on top, depending on your speed instead of reacting naturally to the actual mechanics of the car, such as the brakes giving their noise. Pretty much happens all the time. The brakes never really get hot to the point where they don't need to make that noise anymore, but it is what it is. And to be honest with you, those types of sounds has always been something I noticed in Horizon games. The engine audio still feels too speed dependent instead of like the actual internal combustion dependent. For example, if I'm cruising at 6th or 7th gear at a lower RPM in real life, the car would be pretty quiet. You barely hear the engine because you're not asking much from it, but in Horizon 6, the car still sounds aggressive even while casually cruising. Feels slightly off. Same thing with how the engine doesn't always feel mechanically connected to the car unless you're actively accelerating, such as if you're in first gear and on a car with a dual clutch transmission or even with a clutch, when the engine is connected to the transmission, the car doesn't move forward until you actually accelerate. So there's no such thing as, passively cruising. But honestly, those aren't deal breakers. It's just whatever. Those are just observations. Now, here is where we move into the stuff that I'm a bit more mixed on. First, the map size. Like I said earlier, I love this map. But at the same time, I look at certain empty spaces and think, man, they really could have added more roads here. Japan feels both small and huge at the same time. Obviously, games condense real locations, such as GTA 5's Los Santos doesn't truly feel like real-life LA either, because LA is actually gigantic. Games usually focus on the best spots and compress everything together, but because Horizon 6 map is actually so good, I genuinely wanted more of it. Like double the size of Horizon 5, just go insane with it. And here's the funny part. In Horizon 5, whenever I had a long drive, I usually just cut across the field because there wasn't much reason to stay on the roads. But in Horizon 6, I actually want to stay on the roads. There's elevation changes, mountains, tight corners, highway tunnels. The driving itself is enjoyable. Even when driving long distances, I never felt bored. Honestly, whenever I reached my destination, I was kind of disappointed that the drive was over. And that's a good sign, because every part of the map is so interesting, it almost blends together too much. We actually need more boring areas. Seriously. Even Red Dead Redemption 2 has quieter, emptier areas to make the beautiful spots feel more special. I wish Horizon 6 had more long farmland stretches or quieter countryside roads like you see in anime and Japanese road trip videos. Not ugly areas, just calmer areas. But because everything is a highlight, nothing really stands out. Now on the other thing that I'm mixed on, the road width. Some roads are fantastic, especially in the countryside, but other roads are way too wide. At first, during the intro sequence, I actually hated how oversized some of the roads looked. The wider roads completely kill the feeling of threading the needle through traffic. You're supposed to feel like you're squeezing through tiny gaps at high speeds, but instead, you've got enough room to land a plane between the lanes. We don't necessarily want perfectly realistic roads, we just want roads that are narrower, and that's the difference. There's a difference. And yeah, I know why they do it. It makes the game easier and more accessible. But immersion-wise, it hurts the experience. JDM, Japanese Drift Masters, actually has narrower roads in some areas that creates way more tension while driving. The downside though in that game is that it goes too far sometimes, because it goes like, the same size as it would be in real life, and with too much traffic and too many obstacles and too little room for mistakes. And over time that becomes frustrating. So Horizon 6 sits in a safer part, but I still think some roads should have been tighter. And by that I mean, like, if real life roads are about like 3 meters in width, it should just be maybe 4 meters or 4.5 meters in width maximum, not double the size, not 6 meter wide roads for a single lane. That makes no sense. We don't need it to be this wide. Obviously not like real life, otherwise driving will become impossible, but just wide enough so it's accessible, but not like not a suspension of disbelief. Now let's get into the things that genuinely annoy me. Number one is proper wheel support. This one frustrates me because Microsoft knows people on PC could be, and even on Xbox, using racing wheels. And yet, Horizon still feels like wheel support is an afterthought. I use a Fanatic wheel, a very common wheel, and the game recognizes it. Sure, that's great. But the default bindings are whatever, and the wheel name profiles feel outdated, and the force feedback still feels lazy and completely off. I had an issue where Horizon 6 kept forgetting my wheel profile and remapping random controls, but I seem to have fixed that. But this got annoying very fast. And with the force feedback, since it still doesn't properly support realistic steering rotation, 900 degrees or 1080 degrees, it just never really feels connected. Now, yes, I understand this is an arcade racer first, but if they spend even a little more effort improving wheel support, this game could feel so much better for a wheel user. Now, another issue is the AI. The drive avatars are still weird. Sometimes first place disappears into another dimension. Other times they drive like they've never touched a steering wheel before. The inconsistency is the problem. I just want an AI difficulty to scale evenly and predictably instead of feeling random, race to race especially, or depending on the car class you're racing. And on top of that, the rubber banding still does strange things sometimes. But honestly, I'm not going to lose my mind over it. At the end of the day, this game is about having fun. And despite all my complaints, I've been having an absolute blast. So yeah, that is basically where I'm at with Forza Horizon 6 right now. This isn't a review. It's not some objective score video. I just wanted to talk about the game and hear what you guys think too. Do you agree with some of my points? Did I miss something important? Are there things that you love or hate that I didn't mention? Let's discuss it properly down in the comments. But if I had to recommend a game, yeah, buy it. Especially if you care about driving in Japan. And even if the game has issues, it's still a fun game to play. So overall, it is a seriously good game. I've been having a blast with it, and I think most racing fans probably will too. So yeah, that's basically it for this video. If you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, do all the usual stuff people say on YouTube. Go watch another video after this, or go grab something to eat. But anyways, that's been me. Good night.